ex-Bethelite here, and I want to get an honest response from you guys about Ezekiel and his vision. I believe it's Ezekiel chapter 1. If that's not the right chapter, let me know so I can put the right one in the comment section. But the four living creatures, the chariot with wheels that go in various different directions with eyes, that vision that's in Ezekiel, I think we're familiar with it. If not, we could pause the video and glance over that vision in Ezekiel. The JW teaching on that is kind of what I want to talk about, because you can have a denomination that teaches from the Bible, and as long as they're teaching from the Bible, you may not be in disagreement with anything that they're teaching. I think that would be the case with Jehovah's Witnesses. As long as they're teaching things from the Bible, why would you be in disagreement with anything that they're teaching? But with that particular scripture in Ezekiel and others, but let's use that for an example. Clearly we jump right off of the page of the Bible and we go in a completely different direction. Now, I know that the criticism of, let's say, the Catholic Church is that there are things that are in their tradition, or there's things that they do that people, where is that in the Bible in specific? Where is that word in the Bible? Well, let's say when you're talking about a pope, where is that word in the Bible, and where is that in specific? Well, you get into Peter and the keys to the kingdom, and that sort of understanding of that. So when you get into things like that, whether you agree with the interpretation or not, you can kind of see where they're coming from with that interpretation. With Jehovah's Witnesses, with regards to the heavenly chariot that Ezekiel sees, the interpretation of that oftentimes leads them to discuss Watchtower and comparing it to the chariot that Ezekiel saw, and the wheels of that chariot, God being able to move in various directions at any time, and the interpretation of that being Watchtower and keeping up with what Watchtower decides to do. You cannot find, I just looked over Ezekiel again before making this video. You cannot find any scriptural evidence at all that Ezekiel was prophesying about Watchtower when he's talking about that heavenly chariot. There's been various publications printed by Watchtower where they are saying that this heavenly chariot Ezekiel sees is us. We're the visible representation of that chariot. That is a teaching, not just something somebody said. That is a teaching, flat out. Came right on out with it. Ezekiel saw us, a representation of us. That's what that was meant to be. Somebody showed me, print it, post it down below. Somebody show me where they're coming from. How did they get that? I mean, there's got to be some scriptural reference to Watchtower, something describing Watchtower, it's something. Now you have the four living creatures, and they go about discussing the different faces and the attributes being different attributes of God. We can go with that, but the chariot being a heavenly representation of what is on earth, and that being Watchtower, I mean, if there's no scriptural evidence for that claim at all, A, why is it being taught? And B, you can come out and if you're a Christian, come out and say, hey, where is this coming from? So it leads me to what I have been saying for a while now, and that is questioning the Christianity there. Why has this not been challenged? Why is this not challenged? If you are a Christian and someone takes the Bible, they get in front of you on a platform and they butcher it, are you not now, obligated to say something about this? Or leave, or show the correct interpretation? Or if no one knows the correct interpretation, kind of highlight that you can't just make things up? How can you teach something in front of 8 million people and have no scriptural evidence? And no one say anything? Did nobody read that? No, not one of the 8 million people read Ezekiel and saw that, okay, there's a prophecy that Ezekiel had. How do we come to the conclusion that this is Watchtower? That this is connected to Watchtower? Because they use that to say, hey, if the farm is now the branch, and the headquarters is now Warwick and Patterson and Brooklyn, or whatever the case may be, they're using that scripture to emphasize that people need to keep up with what Watchtower is doing. If that is not what that scripture is there for, then that's misleading, and that's a big deal with the Bible. Taking the Bible to mean something that it does not, and misleading millions of people to believe something that the Bible is not teaching is a big deal with regards to Christianity. So post down below, I can't find any reference. And what is shocking to me is that something, an organization calling itself the truth, you may have nice people there, but if you're going to call yourself the truth, then at least have an appreciation for things that are true, or make that a priority, that you're going to only highlight things that are true. The teaching on Ezekiel's prophecy about the heavenly chariot is about as far left as you can go. Maybe not the teaching about the four living creatures and the face of a man being a representation of God's attributes, but everything else with regards to what they teach about that chariot isn't just a little off, but it's just totally unfounded. you know, that leads me to another issue, and that is Watchtower going completely away from the Bible on a number of issues. One is dates, and they're just connecting dates with things that are in the Bible, like 1914, 1975. They're still talking about 1914. Like, this organization is just addicted to predicting dates and predicting it as if, okay, this is flat out Bible teaching. This is the truth. We can get into 1914 in another video, because I don't want to go into a whole lot of different things. I don't want to confuse the issue, and the issue is a flat out blatant teaching. You ask anybody that was raised in the organization, raised around the organization, and ask them about Ezekiel's prophecy, what was taught, you should come to a consensus, and everyone should admit. Ask someone that is current, call a Kingdom Hall, ask about that teaching. You should come to a consensus that yes, Watchtower teaches that Ezekiel, the prophet Ezekiel, way back in the day, 1,000+ years ago, had a vision of a heavenly chariot, and that is, in their understanding, Watchtower. Watchtower is the visible representation of what Ezekiel saw. How on earth do you come up with this stuff? And how on earth is nobody catching it? Let me know what you think about all this. X Wall Kill Bethelite, signing out.